Welcome to the show.
All right, so welcome to the first Great Wolfcast podcast. Our guest today is one of my favorite people in the world, competitive shooter, friend for quite some time, and one of the few people that I actually care to confide shit in, Jessica Bessler.
Hello. And don't mind the cat on the lap.
I was waiting for you to say Clarice when you said hello. All right, so to start this thing off, I guess we're going to do a couple of questions.
Okay.
First one on the list. Who are you today?
Today, I am a competitive shooter that just wants to improve and make a difference, basically. The biggest thing that I see is I get so many messages from women that are like, you empowered me to go to the range and you taught me something. That's who I am. I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance and everyone can improve themselves and be a better person.
I can appreciate that. Did you want to talk about what got you into training?
So I actually, and pardon the other cat that is now in the room, I actually got into training because I had a pretty horrific incident happen. I had a ex-boyfriend actually physically attack me, and it kind of sparked something inside myself to kind of go to the range, get training, and I started more in the defensive world rather than the competitive world because I wanted to protect myself and I wanted to go to actual hand-to-hand combat classes. I wanted to go to gun classes. I want to do more than just be a stagnant person that is somebody that is a target, basically. And so that's what got me into shooting. And then I kind of got bored and went straight into competition shooting, and there's no looking back.
So basically you had a catalyst of an oh shit moment and was like, well, fuck, now we got to figure this shit out because we're not having that happen again.
It was pretty bad. I wound up in the hospital. I had stitches. It was horrible on not only the physical standpoint, but also the emotional standpoint. I had no idea how to pick myself up and keep going. And actually going to the range and getting trigger time and being around the confidence that people had at the range was enough to get me up and get me out and get me going. And for a while, it was kind of that I couldn't get out of bed. I was so depressed, and it finally gave me a purpose to keep going. And it gave me something to hone and focus and improve on, because I couldn't improve myself. I was so just down on my own self, and I needed to improve something else. So it gave me that piece that I felt like I was missing.
That makes sense. So what was your first class?
I actually took a tactical pistol class, and I actually was groped by my instructor in front of multiple people and was told, oh, you're a woman, it's fine. So my first few instances in the gun world were not positive in any way, shape, or form, but it took me going to better classes and meeting better instructors to finally say, okay, this is a good world that I should be in, and this is somewhere that I want to stay in. But yeah, I did not have a good situation at the very beginning, and the cat is falling off.
The cat fully fell. I know because I just watched the whole thing go. Nyah.
So I'm sitting on
I almost wish that was on camera.
Oh, sorry. So we're sitting in my reload room, actually. So I have literally bullets in front of me and cases. I just did a massive case buy, so I have like 80,000 cases in this room, and they're stacked on top of each other. The cat was on the top and fell off the top and landed into some more cases on the bottom. But he is okay. This is a staple in my household. We're the crazy cat people, so welcome to my life.
Well, Dave really is the crazy cat lady.
Yeah, Dave is the definite crazy cat lady. If no one knows, Dave is my boyfriend. We've been together for quite a while, and he takes it so far that he has a cat visor. He actually has like crazy cat shirts that he'll wear around and stuff like that. We have 5 in total. Yeah.
To be totally honest, though, Dave went too hard as hell this year as the unicorn. I'm surprised he didn't go as a cat or at least a lion.
So the unicorn thing actually didn't really stem from much. So he wanted to do armored division, which means that you do the entire competition from the moment that you get out of your car to the moment that you leave wearing a plate carrier. That's part of armored. So
Cool.
he and I both, we have plate carriers, we have our plates, we have all that kind of stuff, but they're boring. Like, and we're not boring people. We like to have fun. We like to do different things. So he called up Tactical Tailor and was like, hey, I need a completely custom plate carrier. And boy, did they deliver. And that kind of strewn from it. Once he saw the plate carrier and all the rainbow colors and all that kind of stuff, it was, I'm going to be a unicorn. But it wasn't, I'm going to be a unicorn, so I need a crazy plate carrier. It was the other way around. It just so happened like that.
It was a very happy accident. Oh my god, it is glorious.
But you should have seen it at the actual like match. There was multiple people that are like, oh, you're ruining the integrity of the sport. And they were giving him a hard time about it because they were trying to say like, we need to be more professional. We need to this, we need to that. And it's that good reminder for shooters to take a step back and say, okay, you know, yes, some of you might do this for a profession, just like I do. You do it as a profession, you do it to improve and all that kind of stuff. And you do it also, the main reason, for fun. And some people like to have fun in certain instances, like wearing crazy colored plate carriers. It's not that we're trying to hurt the sport. It's just we like to have fun in a weird way. Basically.
I can appreciate that. Anybody else can fuck off.
Exactly. Like, honestly, come on. We had fun. He plays better than I did, but we still had fun.
What was your placing? I know you blew out your knee and there were some issues there. like you could have placed better had you not been physically injured.
Yes. So I actually completely fractured my knee, which sucks. Let me tell you what. But in that process, I did get a major penalty. I got a 60-second penalty, which took me from top half and bumped me right below top half. So my goal going in was to finish all the stages. Check. I even finished one with a fractured knee. I kept going. Thank you very much. Not get DQ'd, which obviously that did not happen, so we're good. Not have any catastrophic failures of any guns. They ran beautifully, especially with clay on them. They just ate it up. And basically, I wanted to beat specific people, and I beat them, so that's fine. Oh, yes. We have little...
rivalries.
Yes! Everyone has a rivalry in the sport. Mine just might happen to be my boyfriend's friends that I like to beat.
Girl power! Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Basically. It's more of the, y'all have been doing it for 3 times as long as I have, and I'm going to beat you. And it'll be great. Magical.
What's your favorite piece of EDC gear that you carry every day?
What happened was, so I love my 365 Absolutely love it. It goes with me everywhere except for work. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to carry at work. But the one piece of gear that I am allowed to carry is my microtech knife. But on the way back from Utah, I had it in my suitcase and it was stolen out of my suitcase when my suitcase was checked. So I've been waiting and building up funds to buy another one. I honestly will not have any other type of knife than microtech. But yeah, that was my favorite part of my EDC gear. Unfortunately, it is now in some random person's hands.
It's in somebody else's EDC gear.
Yeah, yay! So I've been missing it, but I have been stealing Dave's knives and stuff. I do feel like a gun, a knife. I do also carry a handcuff key with me at all times. I have one in my purse as well as I always keep one on me. That is one of the big things that I kind of feel is important. And I am one of those crazy people. I have tourniquets galore. I have like 3 in my car and like 1 in my purse. So that does get with me. And
there's 2 right down over there.
I have my range bag right over here. There's like 2 in there. I mean, the big thing that I feel like with EDC gear is medical. No one carries medical. And that's like the biggest thing. I don't care. Yes, you can shoot people, great, but can you actually like make sure they survive? Or
keep them from dying until they can get picked up by an ambulance and got to a doctor so that they don't die.
Yeah. Yes.
Get them to that next level of care.
So I do train in medical stuff and I do train in trauma situations and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a big, important thing that I like to hone on people, like carry medical, please.
Thankfully, as you know, in our group, like that's a normal thing. But
yeah,
that's one thing I really wish that people in general, not just the firearms industry, but people in general actually looked at, carried, and paid attention to fucking medical gear. At the bare minimum, a tourniquet.
Yeah. 100%. At the least, carry a tourniquet. Like, you know, the gauze, crazy stuff, like, okay, you don't necessarily need to carry that. Like, but at least carry a tourniquet. At least, please.
At the bare minimum, I can fairly easily improvise gauze. If I have to, I can use this little fucking thing, cut somebody's shirt to pieces, and use their cotton shirt as gauze. Yeah. If I have to. I would prefer to have a real thing, but that's one of those things.
Fine. Like,
and yes, you can improvise a tourniquet in a lot of situations, but it's one of the fastest ways to die. It's super fucking small. There's no reason not to carry one, or at least have one like within arm's reach.
Yeah. Gosh. It's one of those things that, like, I always feel when people ask me, what's the first thing that you would buy getting into the tactical world? Medical. And they're like, oh, no, it's not cool. I'm like, well, you didn't ask me what's cool to buy. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, we can go down that rabbit hole. Trust me. I spent way too much money down that rabbit hole. But if you want to go down the actual, like, good rabbit hole, buy medical.
Well, and you're much more likely to use that than you are the gun.
Yeah, 100%. I actually, on my way home, I was down in California for a class, and I had all of my gear in the back of my car, and I was cruising back up on I-5. I pulled off in a rest area. I was like really tired, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I'm going to take a nap. Well, what I didn't realize was when I got up, it was like 2:00 in the morning. I was like, oh, I got to get home. I got to work the next morning. I'm driving down the road, and there's a car upside down on the side of the road, around. What do? Grab my medical. Let's go get it done. And that person really actually needed that tourniquet, considering there was a compound fracture with exposed bone, nicked an artery, like whole 9 yards. We got to get that on. We got to stop the bleeding. We got to get 911 called, and we got to get it done. And it's, if I wouldn't have been there or I wouldn't have had that gear, what would have happened? You never know. Like, I can put pressure on something, but I needed to attend to other wounds elsewhere. If I have a tourniquet and I can place it somewhere, I can focus elsewhere. It's kind of a very important piece.
Extremely. And I remember that
Yeah.
when that happened. I remember that story. It's been a while. I was actually still in California at that point.
Yep.
I don't remember what rest stop it was that you stopped off on though.
Yeah. For anyone watching this, we have been friends for about 3.5 years, and so we
longer.
Really?
Because I've been in Tennessee for 3.5 years.
Yeah, so it has been longer. So
it's been 5, almost 6 years. It's gone by really fast.
Oh. So yes, we have a lot of stories together and all that kind of stuff. So if we go off on tangents, that's why. We've known each other for a very long time.
All right, so I'm going to get into the questions from the Great Wolf group.
Okay.
For those of you that do not know, and you should know because you should be in there, we have a group on Facebook. You are more than welcome to come into it, share your experiences, pictures, and enjoy the randomness that I or other people end up posting in there. You can search for it on Facebook under the Great Wolf Pack, or you can just go onto the Great Wolf Tactical Facebook page and go under the groups section of that and just click directly through. So our buddy Buell Collins from Fiocchi Ammo, he's the manager there, asks, how has her experience in competitive shooting changed her outlook on self-defense?
So the biggest kind of difference with competitive shooting and tactical training and all that kind of stuff, and yes, we now have a cat on me, is competition shooting. You're basically going through something and you get a play-by-play of what is going to happen before you actually do it. So you do a stage walkthrough, basically. And you kind of know, okay, I need to stop in this one spot, shoot these few targets, and move on to this next spot and shoot these few targets. Well, in life, that's not going to happen. You're not going to get a play-by-play like, hang on, let's pause for a moment. So this is going to happen. That's not how life is. So what I've noticed with my competitive shooting and stuff like that is even though my skills are getting better, I'm also realizing that, hey, just because I'm training with my outside the waistband, I'm training with my race guns, as we like to call them, that doesn't mean that I can stop training with my carry gun. Before, yeah, I would go to the range and all that kind of stuff, but let's be frank here. I wouldn't actually draw from concealed. I wouldn't dry fire that because it was boring to me. Competition shooting has made me a better dry fire. Oh, beyond belief. I dry fire every single night, no matter what is going on. If I'm sick, if I'm dying, I am dry firing. And that does not just include competition stuff. Like, I'm going to dry fire my actual concealed carry draw. I'm going to make sure that that gun is cleaned. If you would actually look at my prior concealed carry gun, you would probably shoot me because it's very dirty and it was never cleaned. That wasn't part of what I did. So competitive shooting changed. The biggest outlook was it made me actually want to train more. Basically, I was bored, so bored, but now I'm not.
To be totally honest, that's like me at the gym. Like that's part of why I train jujitsu, because going into a gym and running on a treadmill or lifting weights is
so boring.
Super, super boring. Like, my mind needs to be active.
Exactly. And how many times can you go out to the range and do a build drill? How many times can you go out to the range and train a situation? Like, no matter what happens in life, you're never going to be able to train every single situation. So what do? You do the fundamentals, which comes down to your trigger press, your sight alignment, and your grip. Boom, bang, done. So in the tactical sense, you kind of run into almost barriers of what you can and cannot train. In the competitive world, you never know what they're going to throw at you. Oh, hey, you want to go stand on a bridge that moves sideways and like all this kind of crap, and you're going to do it sideways. Oh, hey, and by the way, you're also going to be dragging a 90-pound structure. I swear, they hate us, and this is how they come up with things. They're running there, and they're like, mwahaha, and this is what they do. That you can't train for. You can't train for anything. So what do? You go back to, I'm going to train the fundamentals. Same situation, but at the end of the day, it's more fun to train for what you have no idea what that master director is going to throw at you.
To be fair, the people that I train with, we do some of that shit. like when you start using force on force shit, start going through the shoot house and you have to grab fucking John Bailey by his belt and drag him through the fucking shoot house and try not to get shot by people trying to shoot you. That's
Yes. Yeah. So let's take it up a notch and we'll say that trainings in like level 3 are like training for competitive shooting. Let's not get twisted. Like, there are some tactical things that are super fun. And trust me, I still do shoot houses. I still do tactical trainings. I just prefer to train for competitive.
Plus, you have something more specific to work towards, more targeted. Yeah. Which is
quantifiable things that I can train for. So, like, for me, my goal for 2019 is I want to get a match win, right? I want to get a local match win. I also want to get in the top 10% in
beat Dave's ass.
That's basically what it is. I want to beat Dave. It'll happen. We're real close, but it'll happen. I want to get a 10% win in TAC Ops. In the tactical world, you can't go out and have that type of goal because there's nothing quantifiable. You can write down, okay, I did the bill drill in 6 seconds. The next time I did it in 5.2 seconds. Golf clap. But at the end of the day, like, I find it personally more fun to beat people and to also improve myself. It makes me work harder because I want to prove to myself, hey, I can beat him and I can beat the boys, and I can.
That's why video games are addictive.
Yes! Basic.
Buell asked, what's her number one tip for new shooters to develop a skill?
So I personally feel that this is based off of how you learn. So if you learn better as a repetitive person, then go and hound that skill. Say if it's getting your follow-up shot to be faster or something like that. Hound. Draw, side alignment, press. Like, make sure everything is on key and just do it over and over and over again. If you're that type of person that likes to analyze, like myself, you're in for a long haul. You're going to need to dry fire it. You're going to need to go to the range a lot. You're going to need to break down every single piece and puzzle of your trigger press, and you're going to need to improve all of those things. That way, when you put everything together in one big whole, it works out. So that basically depends on what type of learner you are and all of that. I've learned personally, I need to dry fire a lot and I need to hone specific skills. That way, when I put it together, everything just improves at its own pace together. Instead of honing one particular skill and getting better at that, I need to improve everything first.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Work your butt off and don't be afraid to work your butt off. It doesn't come in a day.
Do you prefer rifle, pistol, or shotgun when competing in 3-gun? I know the answer.
So I prefer shotgun, and I'm going to not make friends for this comment because the shotgun, yes, it's been sitting next to me the whole time. It's so pretty. The shotgun is something that not a lot of people do. So I personally think that you need to be efficient with all 3 guns. And the one thing that is lacking in the tactical world is the shotgun. Tactical guys are slow. They have no idea how to put hits on target, and they're terrible at it. So in my sense, a 3-gun world, a shotgun is the love, because if you're fast and if you're efficient and your hits are on target, that's going to change your placing. The top 10 guys are the best shotgun shooters. Basically. I prefer the shotgun or pistol because I'm really bad at it. So I like what I'm bad at.
I would say that generalization of people being slow, shitty to hit targets, and all of that is just people in general who do not train. So like,
Yes, but at the same time, you can't tell me that a competition shooter is going to come in versus a tactical shooter who has been training and is going to be faster. Sorry, but that's not going to happen.
no, because specifically you're training for speed. There's
two totally different things.
Two different worlds.
Different worlds.
Two different things for that.
Yes, but I don't know.
Go ahead.
I feel like I have a cat scratching my ass right now. I feel like the shotgun is just one thing that sets apart the competition world from the tactical world, basically.
I agree, and though nobody in the tactical world is going to do it because nobody's going to carry the big ass fucking carrier thing. The quad thing is super fucking cool to me.
It literally just goes on for days. Why would you carry this? It's retarded. And like most of the time, we have to buy specific bags to fit this stupid thing and stuff. Why? Dumb. But it's part of the competition world. That's why we train it. We love it, unfortunately.
I mean, it's just like having a 30 round, or why people buy the fucking D60s and the 100-round C-Mags for ARs. Because you just want to sit there and be able to go pew, 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 pew for days. Because it's fun, and we love it.
I have 2 D60s right next to me right now.
I know.
I'm like...
I knew you had at least one. And it's going to be right there. The other one's probably, or I was thinking the other one could potentially be on your belt in the little mag carrier.
No, because I was loading them to get ready for the range time tomorrow. So they're actually like strewn across the floor. And I'm very glad that you cannot see a lot of the floor because there's a lot of crap on the floor.
The biggest thing shotgun wise that you threw me onto that I find really interesting is quad loading.
Yes.
Which is really, really interesting. But I know I will, with the exceptions of if I were to do competitions, I would never actually be able to use that because I don't have the big ass fucking panel sitting on my leg, even though it's kind of cool.
So quad loading is really cool because competition shooting is the only time that you're ever going to use it, 100%. In the tactical world, they teach you shucking, which is literally taking one shell and like pushing it into the loading tube of your shotgun.
We actually drop it port.
Yeah.
Port load.
There's like multiple different ways of doing it. The biggest thing that kind of correlates is shucking. So we can do that in the competition world. You're just really slow if you do it.
Right.
In the competition sense, you do quad loading, which is taking 4 shells and sliding them into the tube at one grab or pull on your hand. It's really cool. It's not difficult to do. I actually have taught multiple people to do it, and they are actually able to do it within like a couple of minutes and stuff. It's pretty impressive, and it's pretty easy skill, but to get fast at it takes a while. The other issue that you run into, Dexter, get out of the box. The cat is in the box. Hang on, we're going to toss something at the cat. We're going to toss lube at the cat. So, yes, quad loading. One of the main things that's really bad about quad loading is you can ghost load, which means getting a shell in the loading port, but then also in this area right here.
Right.
And so it won't actually go into where it needs to.
So then it jams up your gun and you
can't do anything. And it's dumb and you're stuck, and then you have to either rack out a good round or pop that into the chamber. And it's really annoying. So quad loading has its positives, but it also has its negatives. Anything is cool once you know how to do it, basically. But in the sense, the only time that you're ever going to do quad loading is in the competition sense, basically. Or like if you try to break into my house, I might have a little fun with it. But other than that, there's no need.
Well, and you actually flew cross country to learn how to do it from like the master quad loader.
So I learned how to quad load from the limited national champion. He's been a national champion like 3 times in a row, I think.
What's his name?
His name is Rick Birdsall. And I actually flew to Michigan, which I live in Oregon, so it was a haul to go. But he actually taught me how to quad load. He increased my split times. Oh my gosh. Before I went there, and I was only there for 3 days, like my competition knowledge was like bar none, literally nothing. I went there and was like, I want to learn competition shooting. Teach me. And I left able to actually function in a match. So I got back, I built a rifle in 2 weeks and then did a match. And I was able to actually place in the top half of that match. Granted, it was a local match, but I was still able to place top half my very first match because he was able to get me up to speed, which was really nice. And I try to do that with anybody. Like, I've done sessions like this on video camera and stuff with people, trying to teach them how to quad load, how to dry fire drills, fix their grip, all that kind of stuff. And I do it a lot, and it's very helpful just to get somebody else's opinion on what you're doing.
It's the same thing in jiu-jitsu or
yeah,
you can do it there. But there's a lot of things that you don't see because you're doing the thing.
Yeah, and you feel that you're doing it correctly, and somebody else will be like, no.
You need to be under the watchful eye of a competent instructor.
Yeah, 100%. And unfortunately, with competition stuff, there's not a lot of teachers because they're doing the sport. And a lot of the times, for me, my match schedule for 2019 is insanity. I'm already signed up until May. I have 6 majors already signed up for. And every single weekend I have a match or I have something else going on. So a lot of competitive shooters are busy. So they don't necessarily teach classes. So there's a limited amount of teachers that are willing to help and all that kind of stuff. So if shooters like myself or any of the big names could sit down and say, I'm going to teach someone today, there'd be a lot more people that would be willing to do competitive shooting, for sure. So
I agree. That would be pretty cool if there was.
Yeah, and it would make more people kind of want to go into the sport and show up and all that kind of stuff. But hey, all we can do is just help the little that we can.
What's been your favorite match so far? Hold that. I want to ask this for me. Did you decide if you're going to be coming out in August yet?
For the SOE party?
No. For Knob Creek?
Oh, I haven't decided that yet.
Because I know you said out to May, but yeah, that's.
I haven't got any farther than May. I'm trying. We just haven't actually made it there, considering my calendar only goes to June. If you buy a calendar from Target, it only goes from June to June. So I've only planned till my calendar stops. And when I buy a new calendar, then I will plan more. I know.
So what you're saying is I need to buy you a new calendar so that I can find out.
What I'm saying.
So we can jump out of a plane.
Once January starts, I'll probably get things figured out, but I'm still in Christmas mode and still in everything else mode that I'm just I don't know yet. So maybe, I don't know.
So your favorite match? Sorry.
My favorite match it's a match called, I think it's called High Desert. It is in Washington. It was the very first match that I realized I can actually be competitive at this sport, and I was actually halfway good. It also was the very first match that I realized that I was actually a strong individual. I did a lot of soul searching that match. So I worked a 16-hour shift, and then I got off of my 16-hour shift, had to drive 8 hours to go to the match. I slept in my Jeep. God rest my Jeep soul. It's gone. It does not live anymore. I slept in my Jeep for 5.5 hours and then proceeded to shoot over 17 hours. In one day, we did all of the match in one day, and I actually had about 16 minutes of trigger time, full on stage time. And the only times that we weren't actually like actively shooting was when we ran once from bay to bay and the other time to grab a gun. The rest of the time you were actively shooting. I went through about 800 rounds of pistol, about probably 800 rounds of rifle, and about 500 rounds of shotgun in one match. And it was insanity. And I took home High Lady and 6th in tac ups. So I held my own and I actually did it, and was the very first match that I was like, wow, maybe I should be really tired and exhausted for every other match. But it was the like one instance where I was like, yeah, got this. But that is one match I will be at every year, for sure.
Was that the first one that you got High Lady in?
Yes. That was my big trophy that I have. My trophy that's actually made out of Target. I can actually go and shoot it if I want, but that will never happen.
For those that don't know, she usually does get High Lady in pretty much every match that she goes to.
But one.
Yeah, but that one. But that's okay, because that still means you're kicking everybody else's ass.
Yes, but the Washington match, I actually was able to kick 2 full-on professional shooters' butt. And all they do is they shoot for a living. So,
Beth Baca asks, do you think that it's harder to be a female in the industry?
Yes, 100%. So, like when I first was getting into this industry, and was groped at my very first training session, like, you're going to run into difficult issues that are going to arise. You're going to have men in the industry that are going to basically try to push you out as much as they possibly can. There are a lot of misogynist pigs. There's a lot of bad instances. But for every shitty person, there's a good person that you need to hang on to, and you need to kind of be positive with. Like with me, the reason why Dakota and I are such amazing friends is because we both have the same outlook on life, and we had that instance of, hey, you're not a shitty person. You're going to run into good people, and you're also going to run into bad people. The bad people make the industry sucky, and you just got to get through it. You got to have big, for lack of better terms, balls, and you got to get through it. And unfortunately, the term gun bunny, you're going to hear a lot, and you just got to let it roll off your back and let it go.
So that has recently come up. It was on Instagram. Some asshole was being an asshole. Says he's pro 2A, but really, when you start doing that shit, no, you're not pro 2A. Me and Eric and Knight are going to do a podcast, and that's going to be one of the primary topics in that podcast.
The term gun bunny?
Yes, and how using that in the way that it has been used.
Oh, in the negative.
Primarily in that negative aspect of like when people call you a gun bunny, you train, you shoot, you do all that shit.
Yeah.
When people call Erica a gun bunny, she trains, she shoots, she does all that shit. Where this came up, literally, my comment was the very first comment because I know the lady that it was made towards. And in the last 2 months, she has taken 4 or 5 just pistol classes, as well as an AK class with Sonny Pazikas. Regardless of whether you love or hate Sonny, dude's fucking crazy, but I love the dude. But Jim Fuller was there with Rifle Dynamics. And if you know who Jim Fuller is, that dude is the godfather of building American-made AKs. Anything that you want to know, crazy analytical spec-wise about AK shit and using AKs, that's pretty much the dude.
Yeah. He's the godfather of the AK. Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And dude got pissy, and I told him, that chick that you're calling a gun bunny probably is trained more in the last 2 months than you have in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And his only comeback was, I got my training in Iraq, which, thank you for your service. Awesome. Cool. But that doesn't, no.
So the biggest thing with the term gun bunny is it's used in a negative connotation, obviously, in this world right now. Like, it's, some people say, oh, it's, you know, it's a good term. No, sorry, I'm going to take it negatively. But at the same time, like, you're calling me a gun bunny because, I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like an ass, but you're jealous. You can't do what I can do, or you just have no idea what's going on in the world and you just don't know me. So my thing is let me teach you what I do, and let me show you that I'm not a gun bunny, and let me prove that to you. That's the way that I look at it. It used to really break me down, and it used to really kind of almost dig into your emotional soul. And then it got to a point of like, geez, that really wears on you. I would much rather turn it into a positive and make me train harder, because then, like, oh, you want to call me a gun bunny? Okay, let me show you. I shoot around 3,000 rounds a month. I train my ass off, and I place and I beat men. And if you would show up to a match, I'd beat you. So, not a gun bunny. But it's because they don't know what's going on in the world. They don't know what we're doing. All they see is a girl that's a pretty girl on Instagram or social media, and she's smiling and happy, and they're like, oh, she's just doing this for attention. No, you just don't know what we're doing. So it's ignorance more than anything.
I agree with all of that. My biggest issue with people calling somebody a gun bunny is the same reason that I don't like people. I don't like guys telling their wives what they should carry.
Yeah.
I don't like people going off and belittling somebody. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been an asshole, and I've been this asshole, and I've since learned my lesson. But like, the biggest issue is that it's exclusionary.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's one of the biggest issues anywhere. It's like belittling nerds, right? The problem with doing that is, guess what? Those nerds are now running the fucking world.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones that are running Facebook, who tells you where all your fucking news is coming from.
Yeah.
And picking all of that shit. Like, I'm going to do a video called "Be Nice to the Fucking Nerds."
Be nice to the world.
don't be a dick. But it's exclusionary. You're trying to push a segment, really, that is the fastest growing segment in the gun community, and has been for fucking ever.
Mm-hmm. It's now becoming one of the best tapped pieces of the gun industry, for
right.
lack of better terms. Basically, women are the future of the gun world. 100%. We've already tapped into the men in the 1970s and 80s and 90s and all that kind of stuff. And we've pulled them already in. Now we need to pull in the women and every other person and all that kind of stuff. And we need to get them involved as well. And the people that are sitting there calling everybody gun bunnies, the people that are being negative and being assholes, are just pushing people out. And at the end of the day, our Second Amendment rights are not exclusionary to just men. They're not.
And to be totally honest, they're partially dependent on that.
Yeah.
Like when you have a whole segment of the population that says, these people are assholes to me and I don't like their thing, or I don't understand their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a big deal. Like, when you have that huge section of the population that doesn't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, like when a fucking U.S. senator can stand, sadly a California U.S. senator, thankfully not from the district that I was in, can stand on a stage and talk about fucking ghost guns and all sorts of other crazy shit and shit like that. Just shit like that. The pure ignorance and talking as though they're an expert. And there's a lot of people that fall for that shit.
Yeah.
Stop excluding people, because it's a problem. It's biting us in the ass. It has been for fucking years.
And it's just not helping. And it's just causing more problems than good, basically, at this point in time.
On the heels of gun bunnies, how often do men make sexual comments because you're a female who enjoys shooting sports? I've seen some of these messages.
No, which I will have to send it to you. There is a Instagram site now that's a woman started that has all of the disgusting messages that she's been sent from men, and I've like thrown in a few and stuff, and some other girls in the industry have thrown in a few. I used to, let's be frank here, I used to get about 3 to 7 dick pics a day.
I know.
We've had lots of conversations about this.
I've seen some of them.
That has since stopped. I honestly, the last member dick photo that I have been sent was probably about 6 months ago. And now what happens is I have some friends that I will say, hey, I just got a dick pic from this person, and they will send dick pics to them. And it just happens all day, and they will not stop. And so I don't get that a lot anymore. Like, a lot of people know, like, I live with my boyfriend. Like, I am in a very serious relationship. We train together. We, like, do everything together. So I'm by no means single. And I think that finally, like, registered in guys' minds, or they just got afraid of me. Either way, yay. And the sexual advances have stopped. It's great. Like, and I think it's more of I'm training more in the open. Like, I do live videos of dry fire. I post my training videos so people actually see me training. And I kind of think half the men are afraid of me now, which is great. Let's keep that. Because I would much rather, like, have them say, like, damn good job on that plate rack than, hey, honey, you want to suck my dick? Like, no. I want plate rack.
Thankfully, you have a couple of different plate racks.
Yeah.
Beth also asked, who shoots better, males or females?
We're going down this rabbit hole. So, women naturally are a better shot, naturally, just because we're more calm, collective, and we haven't been taught negative training scars from the very beginning.
They take instruction a shit ton better because their ego's not involved and they're not trying to swing their dick around.
We do that a lot better. So naturally, women are a better shot, but in the competitive sense, if you want to take it into the competitive world, men are going to be naturally the better shooter because they can handle recoil better. They're faster on their feet. They can kind of do the obstacles faster. They can jump over the crazy stuff. They're more agile. They're stronger.
Generally more athletic.
Yes, they're generally more athletic. And anytime people ask me this question, they're always like, oh, what about the, like, yay, women, rah, rah. Like, yes, women are naturally a better shooter. That's why women do very well in PRS for long-range shooting. But men naturally are stronger. Is Dave stronger and a better shot than I am? Yes. But that's going to change here shortly. And he brought me a drink.
Go, Dave.
I know, right? He's my, like, wonderful bartender.
I'm sure he made it strong.
Not that strong.
It's really peppery. We have a weird thing going with our Bloody Marys that he likes everything super peppery, and I'm not a pepper person, so there's a lot of pepper in that.
You're peppy, you're not pepper. Gotcha. That was a stupid joke, but it was fun.
Oh, gosh.
So Drew Morrow asks, what does she like most about competitive shooting?
It keeps my brain going. I am naturally a person that gets sidetracked, squirrel, quite frequently. Dakota knows this very well. I go off on
too.
Yeah, like tangents, random, like it's bad. My brain just likes to go in million miles an hour. So competitive shooting actually like takes my brain and hones it, which I'm really glad that I found that one thing that kind of takes my brain and settles it down. Competitive shooting also mellows my mood out. I have a lot of like stress at my job and all that kind of stuff. I deal with sick people all day, and that kind of can wane on you. And so competitive shooting really has taken kind of everything and just put everything in better perspective and made me a happier person. It's given me a purpose again, I guess. That too. It's just kind of the light at the end of the tunnel.
Gives you a challenge and something to work towards. Same thing with me for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like when I'm done rolling and I'm done choking people out and shit, like I'm a much better husband and father.
So here's the other fun. Yeah. So having a spouse in the same world that I am in is a positive and an extreme negative at the same time. So what Dave and I have found is we can't be on the same squad together because I have issues taking things really personal. And so a lot of the times, and he just brought me like 9 olives. So I have an issue with taking things super personal. And I also have issues of like leaning on him during stages and like really making him do all the work for me, which should not happen. So that's really hard. But at the same time, like we just found it doesn't help. Like it's nice to have your own time away from each other and kind of do your own thing. We love going to trade shows together, and we love doing like benefit stuff together and like all of that. But to have a spouse in the same world as you is not fun at all.
Except for when it is.
But that's the thing is like, it's hard. It really is. Like, it's really expensive. Let me tell you that. It's really expensive. And at the same time, like, I have different opinions than he does. He loves specific things, and I love other things. Different brands, different everything. We have totally different opinions on things. Well, if you put that together and you put it in one house, it's crazy. Or you go to a match and one person does horrible and the other person does really well. Well, you have to put the fact that you did horrible aside to be happy for that other person. But at the same time, you want to have a pity party and like be down on yourself. So it's really difficult to take that emotion out of it and just go back to your relationship. It's really hard. So more power to those couples like the Yackleys that can have an entire family in it. Whew, no, thank you. But yeah, welcome to my life.
What's your biggest pet peeve on the range?
So we have a range that we go to. We have a specific area of the range. It's called the dynamic range. It's where the only area that you can actually do like moving. Well, old guys will sit benches up and do shooting, long range shooting, even though like 10 feet next door, there is benches already set and long range shooting. So they take up the entire space so we can't train. I don't like it. Go away. Get off my range. That or the people that are kind of the look at me, and they take their training completely out of it. And they're not doing anything positive. They're just sitting around downrange for no apparent reason. Those guys I can't stand. But
making lots of noise and generating brass.
Yeah, and they don't pick up their brass. Like, people, really? Pick up your crap. Like, if you want to leave the brass, that's fine. I'll pick it up. I reload. But leaving freaking shotgun holes and all that kind of stuff, like, that's just rude. Pick up your dang things.
Buell asks, what's her favorite ammunition?
What's in front of me? So I reload. So I make my own, which here you go. I make my own rounds. I do 9mm and 223 myself, and I basically have, and here's a cat. I have my own formula
Hannibal,
for
right?
those. And all that kind of stuff. Shotgun, nothing beats Fiocchi. Nothing. There's literally the 3-gun line is top notch for competitive. So your shotgun, your slugs, buckshot, it's very impressive. Like, it can't be beat. There's a lot of actual competitive shooters that I've got to shoot, specifically all the 3-gun line, just because it is by far better than anything else. Yeah.
Buell also asks, what would be her advice for a female who's considering carrying a gun for protection?
My biggest advice with that is to actually carry around your house first, kind of get used to it. One of the main things that I see, and you can kind of pinpoint them pretty quickly, is you can see people out and about and they're constantly tugging at their shirt, or they're constantly moving garments, or they're like, you just tell that something's off with them. So wear around your house, kind of get used to it, wear it with different outfits, like get some friends that can help you say like, oh, you're printing a little bit. And a little bit of printing does not mean anything. Like, people are so oblivious nowadays, they will not notice. A little bit of printing is fine. A lot of printing, not okay. So you got to find that kind of sweet spot in between. But yeah, wear it around your house, get used to it, kind of get used to your holster before you actually go out in public, and it'll do a bit of wonders for sure.
So this question actually kind of merges with another question that I'd already done. Buell asks, what is the best piece of advice she would give herself if she could go back in time as a shooter? Mine was, what was the one thing you wish you knew when you were younger?
So I would say not to give up. So at the very beginning, after I had that like grope session and kind of a lot of bad instances, I stopped and I got away, and I didn't go back for like 6 months. And then for probably the first year and a half, I was 100% like just a chick in the industry. Like, I went out and put a camera up, did what I needed to do to get that Instagram picture or Instagram video, and left. I didn't train. I didn't. Like, I took pictures, and you can attest to this. Like, that's all I did. I took pictures to get the attention off social media. I wish I could go back and get that time back. I would be such a better shooter if when I went to the range, I actually trained rather than like did the look at me bullshit. That's not worth much. Like, it doesn't get you anywhere in life. Eventually your looks are going to fade.
Is that one Hannibal? Which one's that?
This one's Hannibal.
Okay. Where's it at? There we go. Last question from the group is also Buell said, who is her biggest influence or inspiration in competitive shooting?
So that kind of changed over the years. At the very beginning, my biggest inspiration was Rick Birdsall, just because like he was a huge influence at the very beginning, and even now, like, we still text and we still kind of throw ideas back and forth, and like matches he sends me like, hey, look at this one, you should go to it, like, and little tips and tricks. But now I would definitely say I really love Becky Yackley. She's super, like, she's that strong, powerful mama that is an amazing shot. She's fast and she's proficient in like everything that she does. That's the type of person that I want to be. She's a sweetheart. Like, when you actually meet her, she's an angel. But at the same time, like, when it's go time, she's an animal. She gets it done. So that's the type of person that I want to be. But with more cuss words thrown in there, more fun.
I'm okay with fucks and shits, and bitches and assholes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, you can be real nice and you can be an angel, but I just do better with people that like to use cuss words.
I agree. You tend to at least know what's going on in their brain.
Yeah.
Or know what they mean.
Basically. That's just how I am. So I want to be that strong, powerful person, but I still want to be me. Which includes...
Last question from my list.
Okay.
What does being a warrior mean to you?
Never giving up and always striving to be better. And to be better than the person you were yesterday.
I love that answer. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, just let people know that if you ever have questions or you want some training advice or you just want to video chat with me, as long as you're not jacking off, we will video chat because that happened on Instagram. So I will video chat with you and help you if you have any questions or want to fix your draw or fix whatever, and I'll help you the best I can. So feel free to reach out and join our little group. It's super fun. We have tons of fun in it. And I'm in there and I answer and I talk and all that kind of stuff too. So yeah.
What would you like to pimp? Website, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, like anything you want to pimp.
Anything.
People, places, things.
Ooh, people, places, things. So my Instagram is 3GunGal. That's who I am on Instagram. My Facebook is the same, so you can find me on that as well. I do have a Facebook and Instagram. I do have a website. It's 3gungal.com. And all of my sponsor stuff is on the website as well as the Instagram and Facebook. I have discount codes, and frankly, I have a giant box of free goodies next to me. So if you need anything or you need a holster, just send me a message. I might got you. I don't know. Legit. This whole thing is filled with crap that I can't use anymore. And I have 4 of these. So if you need stuff, send me a message.
You also happen to have a discount code for the greatwolftactical.com.
I do, and it's on my website. So I have discounts for Great Wolf. I have discounts for Frog Lube. I have discounts for RMR bullets. I have a discount for Oregon Rifle Works, which is my local gun store, but they also do stuff online. I have a Vertex apparel discount. I got a lot of discounts. Just message me. I'll send you something. And I also am compiling a list of different Instagram peeps with different discounts so that people, if they want to order something, they can look at it and they can say, ooh, they have a discount code. This is why I pay full price. Come on now.
It got really quiet really fast.
No, I was like, he's putting his pen away. Like,
yeah, I was putting my book with pen and everything over here.
I'm just playing with bullets. So this is what I've been doing this whole time. I'm gonna play with bullets.
I could grab the 1022 right there. or the AR. Or the Cricket. Or the other bolt action 22. Or my 270.
I legit was like, I don't know what he's gonna ask me. So I'm gonna have like everything situated and ready and all that kind of stuff. Like I legit have like everything ready. Like even stuff that's not on the market yet, ready. Like
talk about that.
So this is the CTS 1400 from Crimson Trace. It is their red dot. The window is actually bigger than the Delta Point. So, which is absolutely amazing because the Delta Point is a big optic generally, but the window, yes, it's bigger than the RMR, but for the size relative to the optic is not that great. This is a big optic with a huge window. It has a really crisp red dot, which is really nice, and it's super fast. And it's not that expensive. And it will be out in probably a couple months. It should be out on the market and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
It would go perfect right here
Hint, hint.
for my son's new rifle. Because it's going to be bipod right here, red dot right here, so he can sit down and fucking shoot shit.
And ting away.
Yeah, and actually like be accurate and be paying attention to that shit.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, this is my PCC. It is in the process of being changed. I actually just ordered a stock adapter so that I can actually put like regular stock on this damn thing and get rid of this stupid brief. So painful and retarded. And then I just ordered a new safety selector from Radian, a new charging handle from Radian, and a flared Magwell from Springer Precision. So this baby's gonna be tricked out.
Springer just did that lightning thingy for your Stoeger, right?
MOA Precision did the lightning lifter for my Stoeger. So my Stoeger now mimics the Browning A5. So when you actually load shells in the chamber, here, let's just show you. So when the bolt's locked to the rear, I got shells right here. Hang on. So you grab them like you would for quad loading. So the main thing to think about with quad loading, granted this is only 2, you do not want to grab it with a fist. You want to keep it up. So with my lightning lifter, let's see if I can do this upside down. The bolt is locked to the rear and all that kind of stuff. When you go to insert, it'll actually pop it.
It racks the round for you.
So it'll pop it in the chamber. So it mimics 100% the A5. So a typical Stoeger, when the bolt is locked to the rear, it won't allow you to actually do anything with the load port. With this, you can actually pop one into the chamber, which is really cool. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to show off?
Not right now. Not that I have in front of me. Like, I have so much stuff in front of me, but like that's really my cool stuff. I did get awesome. Where are they? New mags from my engraver, which are pretty rad, and these are obviously Hillary in prison, which is what we want. But I have an awesome engraver that sends me mags, and I do them quite frequently. And I do giveaways of them, as well as a bunch of different giveaways on my Instagram. So you'll be seeing one here shortly. I'm getting one together now that we hit 40K. So I have to do a giveaway.
Which reminds me, your sweatshirt should be here in the next week or so. Sadly, they got a big chunk of orders that came in, so ours are running a little bit farther behind than we would have liked. But
Christmas, everything is running behind. I was amazed when people were like, "Oh, we're on schedule." I'm like, what?
yeah.
That never happens.
How hard would it be to go grab Dave's rainbow plate carrier?
Dave, can you bring me your rainbow plate carrier?
And the unicorn hat.
Can you bring me your rainbow plate carrier? We'll find out.
Bring the unicorn costume, Dave.
He's so bad.
I'm not gonna lie. I want pictures of you in it too.
No, not happening. Not happening. Here, how about I like pull it up on my phone because I don't know what he's doing right now. I told him, I was like, I'm doing something and this is what we're going to be doing. And so he's like kind of off in his own little, I think he's painting his rail right now.
I was going to say he probably has to go put pants on.
That too. So, can you see it?
Relatively, yes.
There's his rainbow plate carrier with his little hat.
And the Great Wolf logo is right there in the middle.
It is. And there's his little unicorn head.
That makes me way happier than it should.
One of them, what's funny is he had 3. So he had 3 different heads. He had this one. He had one that was more like a mohawk. And then he had the full horse head that he couldn't see out of. So he wasn't able to actually wear that while on stage, but he wore like these and the other one actually while he's shooting. So yeah. But he's also a little cheater because his plates only weigh like 5 pounds a piece. So come on.
I don't think that's cheating.
It's being smart.
Exactly. I mean,
sorry,
I realize that my plates are 10 pounds a piece, but
yeah, but you also have like our buddy. Oh my gosh, that has so much pepper in it. So our buddy, his name's Alex. He just turned 21, so he's a little sprouty little thing. He got like 10th. No, he got first. That's what it was. He got first in armored. He actually won that division. His plates were like 17 pounds a piece and all that kind of stuff. Granted, he's like a stick figure and he's 20, so he's like super good in shape and all that kind of stuff. And I hear Velcro going on in the background, so this is a little scary. But yeah, so he actually did the full like 100% true tactical. He even wore cry pants. So tactical can come into the shooting world in the competition sense. Oh, thank you.
Oh.
And if you notice, there's even like little unicorn buttons and stuff on it.
Yeah, they're a little My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Buttons.
Oh God.
Trying to break her foot with a plate.
Oh. Yeah, it's his like 4-pound plate.
Plus, they're level 3+.
Yeah, Polly's.
100 carbon something.
I really want to know where they got the rainbow 2-inch webbing.
It was special order.
They had to special order everything because they didn't
I'm sure.
get it in stock. So
We found it on a distributor website for fabric stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and like even the tops are rainbow. Like, come
That's
on.
what I'm talking about. That and the size for the clips.
They want me to wear it. My company wants me to wear it to our 30th party,
Oh God.
which we get free plane tickets to go to.
This is my life.
I love it. It's awesome. It makes me so happy.
Like 100%. This is my life. Like, we shoot guns, we wear crazy costumes, and we are crazy cat people.
We shit. You don't wear crazy costumes.
I do not wear crazy
You got a
costumes.
mouse. I don't have a mouse in my pocket.
I'm waiting for her to put on a crazy costume.
No, I'm not wearing.
Dave, I will help you.
No,
We will get this happen.
It's not happening. But I'm gonna give a little teaser away. Dave and all of his friends are gonna be wearing specific costumes here coming up to another major match that we're going to. So there's gonna be more than just Dave in a costume, and that I might participate in, maybe, if I'm allowed. But mostly it's all the like tactical dudes that all go to these matches together.
You don't have to have permission to wear a costume.
That's the thing. It's like they want to wear, like, I tried to get Dave to wear tights Okay, like I tried to get him to wear like my tactical yoga pants and all
Yeah,
that.
the Vakandi apparel ones.
Like I tried, and he was like, "No, I'm gonna wear my clothes." And yeah, so there is a line. Some people say that there is no line. Well, Dave does have a line.
Everybody has a line.
It might blur on occasion.
Get really, really close to that line and poke it a little bit.
Yeah. So, we just have fun and we like to be a little crazy and all that kind of stuff, which is what we do. That's it. Like, we just have fun. And at the end of the day, like, if you can go out and have a good time and make a fool out of yourself and make someone else happy, great. Awesome. Cool.
All right, I'm gonna let you get back to Dave.
Okay.
It took way more time than I intended to take.
You definitely took way more time than you intended.
I told you it would probably be about an hour, and right now we're an hour and basically like hour 15 minutes, hour 20 minutes.
It's worth it. At the end of the day, it's worth it. This is what happens when you're been friends for as long as we have. We just start talking.
I'm surprised we didn't go on more tangents. Having the questions kept us pretty there. Like when we were going through and trying to deal with fucking technical bullshit on Wednesday, there were so many tangents, and it was awesome. Great conversation.
It was really good though, because it kind of brought us like, and we got all the squirrel moments out, and we were able to get like all of our like naughty talk and like our whisper secret squirrel stuff out of the way before we actually did this, and then we don't have to talk about the secret squirrel stuff that other people don't have to hear. So, that was a good thing that we had like a trial run.
Up until now, there was no talk about dead hookers and trunks.
I know. Weird, right?
All right, darling, thank you. Hopefully I'll have you on again sometime soon. Let me know whenever you want to. If there's anything coming up you want it, or if you just want to bullshit.
Thanks for having me.
Deuces.